So, there's this new term making the rounds in the tech world that's, well, it's set to pretty much change how we think about automation. It's called Pilot Agentic Flows. Yeah, I know it sounds super complicated, but it's a huge leap forward. And don't worry, in the next few minutes, we're going to break it all down and make it super simple.
All right, I can practically hear you thinking it. Pilot? Agentic? Flows? It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? It's incredibly technical, maybe even a little intimidating. It's a real mouthful for sure.
But here's the thing. The actual idea behind it, it's surprisingly simple. And I promise, by the end of this, you're going to know exactly what it is, how it works, and maybe most importantly, why it's about to change, well, pretty much everything, from how a company handles customer service to how they do financial analysis.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this, let's break that term down into its building blocks. We'll start with the foundation. What exactly is a flow? And then, what on earth does it mean for something to be agentic? So a flow, at its heart, is just a set of automated steps. Think of it like a digital recipe, you know? It follows a very simple rule. If this happens, then do that. Super straightforward. For example, when you fill out a form on a website, a flow is what automatically sends you that confirmation email. It's a very rigid, totally unthinking process. Okay, now for the magic ingredient, the AI agent. This is where it gets really interesting. This is not just a recipe follower. This is the thinking part. I want you to think of it less like a dumb machine and more like a really smart junior colleague. It can actually analyze a situation, understand the context, and decide what to do next, all on its own. And that right there, that brings us to the fundamental difference. This is the real aha moment in all of this. See, on one hand, you have the traditional flow. It's a rigid rule follower. It has fixed instructions, and it absolutely cannot deviate from the script. But on the other hand, you've got an AI agent. This is a genuine problem solver. It doesn't just sit around waiting for an if-then command. It actively looks at a situation and decides, okay, what's the best thing to do here? So what happens when you combine the two? When you take that reliable, step-by-step structure of a flow and you inject the dynamic intelligence of an agent, well, that's when you get an agentic flow. It's an automated process that can, well, it can actually think. I know this might still feel a little abstract, so let's bring it down to earth with a real-world example that I think we can all relate to, handling a customer complaint. All right, so the old way, using a traditional flow, is, well, it's pretty robotic. A complaint comes in, the system blindly sends out a generic "thanks for your message" email, forwards it to some poor human support agent, and logs the ticket. That's it. It's efficient, I guess, but it's not smart. It has zero awareness of what's actually in that email. But the agentic way? Oh, this is a whole different league. The flow doesn't just forward the email, it reads it. It can actually understand the customer's mood. Is this person angry? Frustrated? It can then check their purchase history to see if they're a loyal customer. And get this, it can even suggest a solution, like offering a refund. It acts like a really thoughtful assistant, not just some blind, unthinking machine. Okay, so we've got agentic flows down, but what about that first word, pilot? This piece of the puzzle is actually super important because it's all about how we can start using this powerful new tech safely and effectively. So, pilot in this case just means what it sounds like. Start small. You don't just unleash these thinking automations across an entire company. No way. You run a pilot program. You pick one specific problem, you let the agentic flow handle it, and you watch it. You watch it very closely. It's basically a safe trial run to learn, make adjustments, and build confidence before you even think about scaling it up. So why does any of this matter? What's the big deal? Well, the benefits are huge. We're talking about saving absolutely massive amounts of time. We're talking about cutting way down on human error. And finally, being able to tackle those really complex tasks that make you juggle a dozen different software systems. And the best part? These flows can actually learn and adapt over time. You know, what this all points to is a massive shift, a fundamental change in our relationship with technology. We are moving away from an era of tools that just follow our instructions, and we're moving toward a world of assistants that actually understand our goals. And that right there, that's the core idea. That unlocks everything. You want the perfect analogy for this? It's Google Maps. Think about it. You don't get in your car and give Google Maps step-by-step, turn-by-turn instructions, right? Of course not. You just tell it your goal. Take me to the airport. And the system figures out the entire journey for you. Well, agentic flows are now bringing that exact same goal-oriented simplicity into the world of work.
But of course, giving our tools the ability to think and act on their own, that comes with some pretty serious considerations. You know the saying, with great power comes great responsibility. And in this case, that means a serious need for oversight.
Look, these agents need guardrails, clear rules. We have to make sure they're acting ethically, that they're using accurate information, and that they're protecting private data. And maybe the most important rule of all, they have to know when to stop and ask for human approval. You just can't let an algorithm make a major critical decision all by itself. Not going to happen.
And really, that is the crucial point to take away from all this. This is not about replacing people. It's about creating these incredibly powerful assistants that make us better at our jobs, that augment our own abilities. So, human supervision, it isn't just a good idea. It is absolutely essential if we're going to use this technology responsibly.
So, this is the future we are stepping into right now. It's an era where we finally stop telling our tools how to do things, step by step, and instead we just start telling them